The glass room in the mountain. The ice axe struck glass at 14,000 feet. Ranger Kate Morrison stepped back, staring at what shouldn't exist, a window buried in glacier ice for decades. She cleared more snow with her gloved hands. The window was huge, 10 feet tall, crystal clear. Behind it, 3 people sat at a table, perfectly preserved, not frozen, not mummified, sitting, eyes open, reading newspapers. Kate's altimeter beeped. The oxygen felt thin, but she couldn't look away. The man on the left held a copy of the Denver Post. She could read the date clearly, July 18, 2024, yesterday's edition. These were the Hartley brothers and Jessica Reeves, missing since February 11, 1981, the day Lift 7's cable snapped, the day 43 years of search parties found nothing. Kate pressed her face to the glass. David Hartley, 24 in 1981, still looked 24. His brother Michael, 19 then, 19 now. Jessica, 22, unchanged. They weren't breathing, but they weren't dead either. Their eyes tracked slowly across newspaper pages. Fingers turned pages every few minutes, like they were reading at 100th normal speed. Kate radioed base. "I need everyone up here. Bring cutting equipment." She took photos with her phone. The flash reflected off glass. In the reflection, she saw something impossible. A 4th chair at the table, empty, with her name already engraved on it. The Hartley brothers had been local legends, trust fund kids from Denver, ski bums who lived for powder days. David was the older one, MIT dropout, could have been anything, chose to be nothing. Just skiing. Michael was different, quiet, studied weather patterns obsessively, kept notebooks full of pressure readings and wind speeds. Jessica Reeves was their friend from Cornell, mechanical engineering student, in Aspen for winter break that never ended. February 11, 1981 started clear. Bluebird Day, perfect visibility. Lift 7 was the oldest on Ajax Mountain, cable car style. 1 cabin up, 1 down, counterbalanced. The Hartleys and Jessica caught the 9:15 a.m. ride, 12 minutes to the summit. The cable snapped at minute 6, halfway up, 11,000 feet. The other cabin crashed down the mountain, 4 dead, but the upper cabin simply vanished. No wreckage, no bodies, no explanation. Search teams combed every inch of Ajax. Dogs, helicopters, ground crews. The math was simple. A cable car weighs 8 tons. It had to be somewhere. The crews found nothing. Not a bolt, not a shard of glass. The cable itself ended in a clean cut, not frayed, cut, like someone had sliced it with a laser. The investigation stalled. Families grieved. Aspen installed new lifts with triple redundancy. Life moved on. But rangers kept finding things. Ski poles that weren't there before. A glove frozen in ice that carbon dated to next year. A lift ticket from 2015 buried under snow from 1990. Kate had been finding these anomalies for 3 years. Time-shifted objects. Always near Ajax. Always connected to Lift 7. Her supervisor called them processing errors. Contaminated samples. But Kate mapped them. The pattern was clear, a spiral, starting at the crash site, expanding outward, each object from a different year, all from the future. The center of the spiral was here, 14,000 feet, above the old lift line, where no building had ever been. Until now. The room was perfect. 30 feet wide, circular, glass walls on all sides. The table was mahogany. The chairs looked handmade, expensive. On the table 3 coffee cups, still steaming, 3 plates with half-eaten breakfast, eggs over easy, toast. The food looked fresh. Kate checked her watch. 2:47 p.m. Who eats breakfast at 2:47 p.m.? Then she noticed the clock on the wall inside, also 2:47. But the second hand was moving. Barely. One tick, every minute. She timed it. The room's clock was running at 1/60th speed. An hour inside was a second outside. A day was 24 seconds. 43 years was about 10 hours. To them, the crash happened this morning. Base camp responded to her call. 6 rangers, 2 paramedics, cutting equipment. They arrived as the sun set. Orange light through ice and glass. The room glowed. Inside, Jessica Reeves stood up. Slow motion. Took 30 seconds to push back her chair. She walked to the window. Each step took a minute. She pressed her palm to the glass. Mouthed something. Kate read her lips. One word. Stretched over 2 minutes. Finally. The cutting crew went to work. Diamond saws. Plasma torches. Nothing scratched the glass. It wasn't glass. It was something else. Dr. Sarah Chen from CU Boulder arrived at midnight. Quantum physicist, specialized in temporal mechanics. She took readings, measured radiation, ran equations on her tablet. This isn't possible, she said. But it's happening. What's happening? They're in a temporal bubble, moving through time at a different rate, like relativity, but localized, controlled. This kind of technology doesn't exist. It exists. We're looking at it. Chen set up equipment, sensors, cameras, a dozen instruments Kate didn't recognize. The bubble is degrading. Ice melt is accelerating it. 43 years of perfect isolation, now exposed to air, to observation. The quantum state is collapsing. What happens when it collapses? They either sync with our timeline, or Chen paused, or they skip ahead, further into the future. Inside the room, Michael Hartley was writing in a notebook, same notebook he'd carried in 1981. Kate zoomed her camera, could read his handwriting. Day 1, cable snapped. We're falling but not falling. Jessica says we're between seconds. David thinks we're dead. I can see someone outside. A woman in orange. She's moving so fast, she's blurring. Years passing like minutes. The ice is growing around us. Kate was wearing orange. Her Ranger jacket. Michael was seeing her now, but writing about her in his past. Their past was her present. Their present was her future. The newspapers, they were reading. Tomorrow's news. Next week's, next year's. All happening now, for them. Chen's equipment beeped. The bubble's accelerating. They're speeding up. Kate watched Jessica return to her seat. Faster now. Normal speed almost. She picked up her coffee. Sipped it. Set it down. Picked it up again. The same motion. Looping. David turned a newspaper page. The same page. Over and over. Michael wrote the same sentence. They were stuck. Not just in time. In a moment. A single action repeating. We need to break the glass, Kate said. That could kill them, or us. We don't know what's maintaining the bubble. Kate thought about the empty chair. Her name on it. Waiting. She dreamed about this place 3 nights ago. Before finding it, in the dream, she was inside, reading tomorrow's newspaper, watching herself outside, finding herself inside. The loop, always the loop. Chen's reading spiked. Something's happening. The room was brightening, not from outside light, from inside. The walls themselves glowing. 3 people stood up, moved to the glass, pressed their palms against it. Their mouths moved in unison. Same word, Kate read it. Choose. The glass cracked. Spiderweb fractures, spreading from their palms. The crack reached the empty chair. Kate's chair. The fractures spelled words. A message in breaking glass. The lift didn't fall. We stepped out, between moments, to see what comes next. We've seen it all. Every possibility, every timeline. The chair is for the witness, the one who decides which future becomes real. Kate understood. They weren't trapped. They were waiting for her, for someone, for a witness to collapse the probability wave, to choose which timeline survived. She'd been finding future objects, because all futures were happening simultaneously here. The room was a nexus, a point where time folded. They'd created it somehow. In that moment of crisis, when the cable snapped, instead of falling, they'd stepped sideways, out of linear time. But they couldn't step back alone. Needed an anchor, someone in normal time to pull them back, or push them forward. The empty chair wasn't a trap, it was an invitation. Join them, see all possibilities, choose the best future, or destroy the room. End the experiment. Let time sort itself. Kate's radio crackled. Ranger Morrison, we're getting reports of anomalies across Colorado. Ski lifts running backward, trails appearing that don't exist. Ajax Mountain is flickering between different versions. What's happening up there? The bubble was affecting everything. Shredding, soon all of Aspen would be unstuck in time. Unless Kate chose. She looked at Chen. If I go in, can you get me out? I don't even know how you'd get in. Kate touched the glass where it was cracked. It felt warm, alive, like skin. She pressed harder. Her hand sank through, not breaking it, merging with it. The glass flowed around her fingers, pulled gently, inviting. She could step through, join them, see what they'd seen. Every future spread out like a map. Or she could pull back, let the bubble collapse naturally, risk random timeline selection. Maybe this one, maybe another. Maybe one where humanity never survived past 1981. Inside, Jessica held up a newspaper. February 11th, 2044. The headline, Temporal Experiment Succeeds. First-time travelers return. The photo showed 4 people stepping out of a glass room. 3 she recognized. The 4th was her, older, graying, smiling. The article described how they'd spent 63 years exploring possible futures, finding the optimal path, preventing wars, guiding humanity through climate change, ensuring survival. Another newspaper. Different date, February 11th, 2034. Headline, Mountain Collapse Kills Thousands. Photo of Ajax, crumbled. The glass room's destruction, causing a chain reaction. Temporal shockwave. Colorado devastated. Another. February 11th, 2024. Tomorrow. 4 bodies found in ice. Her body, frozen. The choice to enter was fatal, but necessary. Her death anchored them, brought them home. Another. February 11th, 2054. The empty timeline. Earth vacant, humanity gone. No explanation, just empty cities. The room never found. The choice never made. The loop never closed. Kate pulled her hand back. The glass solidified, but she'd felt it. All those futures, existing simultaneously, waiting for selection, for observation to collapse the wave. She was the observer, the measurement that would determine reality. Chen's equipment screamed alarms. The bubble's going critical. Whatever you're going to do it now. Kate looked at the 3 faces. Young, hopeful, terrified. They'd been sitting at that table for 10 hours their time, 43 years hers, reading every newspaper that would ever be, seeing humanity's triumphs and failures, unable to warn anyone, unable to change anything, just watching, waiting, for her. She made her choice. Kate stepped through the glass. It parted like water, reformed behind her. The world outside slowed. Chen frozen mid-word. The other Ranger statues, snow hanging in air. Kate sat in the empty chair. Her name was already carved, had always been carved. She picked up the newspaper in front of her. Tomorrow's edition. Her own obituary. Ranger Kate Morrison, 34, died saving 3 missing skiers. Body never recovered. David Hartley spoke. His voice normal speed now. You came. You knew I would. We've been watching you. 3 years of you finding our breadcrumbs. We left them. We'll leave them. Time is circular here. Michael showed her his notebook. Thousands of pages. Impossible for a normal notebook. But nothing was normal here. I've mapped every timeline, every choice, every consequence. There's a path, a good one, but it requires sacrifice. Mine? All of ours. We can't go back. Not to 1981, not to our lives. Those ended when we stepped out of the falling lift, but we can go forward to when we're needed. There are moments, pivot points, where one person in the right place changes everything. Jessica pulled out a list. Dates, locations, events. September 11th, 2001. We could be on those planes. Change flights paths by seconds. Enough to miss. March 11th, 2011. Fukushima. We could trigger early warning systems. Save thousands. December 14th, 2012. Sandy Hook. We could jam one door. Just one. Kate read the list. Hundreds of dates. Tragedies. Preventable with foreknowledge. We become time police? We become ghosts, David said. Invisible adjustments. Never seen, never known, but always there, at the worst moments, making them slightly better. Why me? Why was the chair waiting? Michael smiled. You're not the first. There have been others. Will be others. The room appears when needed, when someone is ready. You've been preparing your whole life, finding anomalies, mapping impossibilities. You already think outside linear time. Kate felt the weight of it. Every future, every past, all accessible from this room, but at a cost. Never returning to normal time. Never aging normally. Watching the world through glass, forever outside, forever observing. She thought of her life. No family, few friends, just the mountains, just the search for answers. Maybe this was her answer. How does it work? Jessica gestured to the walls. The glass isn't glass. It's crystallized time. The lift accident created a fracture. We fell through, built this room in the space between seconds. We can move to any point where time is fractured. Disasters, accidents, moments of breaking. We arrive just before, make small changes. Nothing dramatic. Nothing that creates paradoxes, just enough. And if I say no, you can leave. The room will find someone else. Eventually. But time is running out. The ice melt is accelerating. The room will be fully exposed soon. Governments will come. Scientists. Military. They'll try to weaponize it. Use it for power, for control. That's one of the futures we've seen. The worst one. Kate stood. Walked to the wall. Through it, she could see Chen, still frozen, mouth open, warning about something that hadn't happened yet, might never happen. Depending on Kate's choice, she pressed her palm to the glass, felt all the timelines flowing through it, could step into any of them, save Lincoln, warn about Pearl Harbor, prevent Chernobyl, change everything. But that wasn't the job. The job was smaller. Surgical. A door that sticks. A phone call that connects. A traffic light that lasts 2 seconds longer. Tiny adjustments that save single lives. Add up to millions over time. Never noticed. Never celebrated. Just done. There's something else, David said. We age differently here. 1 year for every 100 outside. We've aged 4 months since 1981. You'd have centuries, maybe more. Enough time to make a real difference. Or to go insane, watching humanity repeat its mistakes. That too. Kate laughed. It echoed strangely in the room, like it bounced off not just walls but years. She heard herself laughing, in 2030, 2050, 2100. All simultaneous. All here, She picked up the newspaper from 2024, her obituary again. But the date was wrong. Not tomorrow. Today. She'd already decided. Had decided before climbing the mountain. The empty chair had been waiting because she'd already sat in it. Future determining past. The cutting crew, she said. What happens to them? They'll find bodies. Ours. The ones that should have been here. From 1981. Frozen. Preserved. Case closed. The room will vanish. Become myth. Until it appears again. Somewhere else. For someone else. Kate understood. The bodies were already here. Had always been here. In another layer. Another possibility. The one where they simply froze to death. In 1981. That timeline would become real for everyone outside. Clean. Simple. No paradoxes. No questions. Just tragedy resolved. She sat back down. Picked up the coffee. Still hot. Would always be hot. Temperature was negotiable here. Show me the list again. The pivot points. Jessica spread papers across the table. Thousands of dates. Each circled. Annotated. Margin notes. In languages Kate didn't recognize yet. Would learn. Had already learned. Time was circular here. We start small, Michael said. August 2024. Heat wave in Phoenix. Nursing home AC fails. 43 elderly die. We just need to call a repair service 12 hours earlier. Anonymous tip about strange noises. They'll check. Find the problem. Fix it. That's it. A phone call? That's how it starts. Practice runs. Learn to navigate. Learn to be subtle. The big saves come later. When you're ready. When we're all ready. Kate nodded. Do it. The room shifted. Not physically, temporally. She felt herself stretch across years. Exist in multiple moments. Her hand reaching for phones in different decades. Her voice warning about different dangers. All happening. All at once. But controlled. Directed. The three guides helping her navigate. Teaching her to be when instead of where. Outside, Chen watched the glass crack. Spiderweb fractures spreading. The room flickering. There. Not there. There again. She saw shadows inside. Or people. Then three. Then none. The mountain shook. Snow fell. When it cleared, the room was gone. Just a cave. Natural. Old. Inside. Three bodies. Frozen. Since 1981. The Hartley brothers. And Jessica Reeves. Positioned naturally. Died of exposure. Case closed. But Chen knew better. Her equipment had recorded everything. The temporal signatures. The probability collapse. The moment of choice. She kept the data secret. Filed her report. Bodies found. Natural causes. No anomalies. She lied. Because she'd seen Kate step through. Seen her choose. Seen her disappear into a job that couldn't be named. Couldn't be known. Could only be done. The newspapers would report the discovery. 3 missing skiers found after 43 years. Climate change revealing old tragedies. A reminder of mountain dangers. The families would have closure. The mystery solved. No one would ask about the 4th chair. The one that was never there. Had always been there. Was still there in the space between seconds. Kate sat in the glass room that didn't exist. Reading newspapers from tomorrow. From yesterday. From never. The Phoenix phone call was made. Would be made. Had always been made. 43 lives saved. They'd never know. That was the point. Anonymous salvation. Invisible grace. She picked up another paper. September 8th, 2024. Hurricane forming in the Atlantic. Would hit unexpectedly. Kill hundreds. Unless a weather station's equipment mysteriously glitched 12 hours early, triggering evacuation. My turn, she said. David smiled. Your turn. Kate stood, walked to the wall, through it, into September 7th, 2024, into a weather station in Miami. She touched a sensor, tiny adjustment, temperature reading off by 2 degrees, enough to trigger alerts, enough to save lives. No one saw her. She wasn't there, had never been there, was still in the room, was in all times, was in no time. She returned, sat, sipped coffee that never cooled. Next, Michael pushed another file forward. October 2024. School shooting. Preventable. Lock malfunction at the crucial moment. Shooter delayed 30 seconds. Enough for security to respond. Simple. Surgical. Invisible. We'll need to be careful with that one, Jessica said. Too many interventions in violent crimes create patterns. Investigators notice. So we spread them out. Different types. Natural disasters. Accidents. Violence. Disease. Random distribution. No pattern. You're learning fast. Kate was learning. Had learned. Will learn. Tense meant nothing here. She existed across time now. Could feel herself in multiple moments. Making calls. Adjusting electronics. Jamming doors. Always subtle. Always unseen. The ghost in the machine. The glitch that saves lives. Years passed. Seconds passed. Same thing. The room moved through time like a submarine through water, surfacing at fracture points. Disasters. Breaks in the timeline where intervention was possible. Kate learned to navigate, to be precise, to save without being seen. The others taught her. Their 4 months of experience. Their 43 years of observation. Their centuries of potential. By 2030, or was it still 2024, Kate had prevented 17 disasters, small ones, a bridge collapse delayed until after rush hour, a gas leak detected before explosion, a plane's engine failing on the ground instead of in air. Each saved dozens, sometimes hundreds, the butterfly effect multiplying her interventions, lives saved leading to other lives, children born who wouldn't have been, innovations made by people who should have died. She began to see the pattern, not of their interventions, of time itself, how it wanted to flow, the natural current toward certain outcomes. They weren't changing the river, just adjusting rocks, creating eddies where life could persist, where humanity could continue. Evolution through selective salvation. There's something else, David said one day. Or every day. Time was circular here. We're not the first. Kate looked up from the newspapers. 2087's headlines. Water wars. Preventable with right interventions now. What do you mean? This room. Others like it. Throughout history. The pyramid chambers that don't match. Stonehenge's missing pieces. Every culture has myths of watchers, guardians, angels. It's us. People like us. Stepping outside time. Maintaining the timeline. Maintaining? Not changing? Keeping it stable. Without us, without intervention, humanity ends. Dozens of times. Nuclear war in 1962. Plague in 1347. That should have killed everyone. Asteroid in 908. That got mysteriously deflected. We're not changing history. We're creating it. Making sure it happens at all. Kate felt the weight of that. Not just saving lives, saving existence itself. The responsibility crushed and elevated simultaneously. She was nobody. She was essential. She didn't exist. She existed in all times. The paradox should have broken her mind. Instead, it freed it. Linear thinking was a prison. This was freedom. Terrible, beautiful freedom. How many of us are there? Across all time? Maybe 100, maybe 1,000. Hard to count when we exist outside counting. We meet sometimes, at major events, compare notes, share techniques. There's a gathering in 1969, moon landing. We all watch, together, apart, same time. Kate marked it in her calendar that didn't exist. Would attend, had attended, was attending now. Everything was now in the room. She could feel herself aging slowly. 1 year per 100, would live to see the stars, would die before lunch. Both true, neither true. Truth was negotiable here. The newspapers kept coming. Tomorrow's tragedies, next year's disasters, next century's crises, each preventable, with the right touch, the right ghost, in the right machine. Kate read them all, memorized patterns, learned where to be when, how to save without changing, how to preserve the timeline while improving it, the delicate art of invisible mercy. 2024 became 2025, or stayed 2024, or jumped to 2094. Hard to tell. Newspapers were the only calendar that mattered. Each intervention carefully planned, executed, erased from history. No one would ever know about the glass room. The 4 people who didn't exist, who saved thousands, would save millions, had already saved billions. Jessica pointed to a new entry. March 15th, 2089. This one's important. Kate read it. Pandemic. Worse than COVID. 90% fatality. Started in a lab. Accidental release. Preventable if one freezer fails 3 days early, before the sample is stored. Simple mechanical failure. Anonymous tip about power fluctuations. Maintenance check. Crisis averted. That's 65 years from now. You'll still be young, relatively. Maybe 40 in body, centuries in experience. Kate nodded, added it to her list. Would do it, had done it. The virus never existed, never would exist, because she'd break a freezer, because 4 people fell through time in 1981, because ice melted in 2024, the causality loop that saved the world. What about us? She asked one day. Our lives before. Gone. Michael said simply. We died in 1981. You died in 2024. Those versions of us, the ones who would have lived normal lives, had families, grown old. They're gone. We're what's left. The echo, the ghost, the possibility that refused to collapse. It should have been sad. It was sad, but also beautiful. They'd transcended death by accepting it, lived forever by agreeing not to live, saved everyone by saving no one. The paradox of the room. Kate picked up another newspaper. 2151. Mars colony disaster. Preventable. She'd be there. Would have been there. Was there now, reaching through time to adjust an oxygen sensor. The colony would survive. Humanity would spread to the stars, because 4 people sat in a room that didn't exist, reading newspapers from never. Look at this, David said, pointing to an article. Small piece. Back page. Glass room found in Himalayas. Different room, different people, same concept. The network revealing itself. Time's immune system, protecting the timeline from its own failures. Should we contact them? We already have. Will, are right now. Time isn't linear, remember? We're probably training them. They're probably training us. All happening simultaneously. Kate's head hurt. Good hurt. The pain of expansion, of thinking beyond 3 dimensions. She was becoming something new. Not human. Not inhuman. Transhuman. Existing across time like normal people. Existed across space. Present everywhere. Absent everywhere. The quantum state of being and not being. The coffee was still hot, would always be hot. The breakfast still fresh. The newspapers still arriving. Tomorrow's news, yesterday's prevention, today's non-existence. The work continued, would continue. Had always continued. The glass room's eternal mission. Save humanity from itself. One invisible intervention at a time. Outside the room that wasn't there, Chen published her papers. Temporal anomalies in mountain regions. Theoretical only, no proof. The scientific community dismissed her. Crackpot theories. Science fiction. She didn't care. She knew the truth. Had seen Kate choose. Had watched the room vanish. Had kept the secret. Some truths were too important to share. Rangers still patrol Ajax Mountain, still find anomalies, objects from the future, from the past, from never. They file reports, ignore them, move on. The mountain keeps its secrets. The glass room drifts through time, appearing when needed, taking those ready to step outside, to become guardian ghosts, to save without being saved. In 2067, a young scientist finds strange readings, temporal signatures, impossible patterns. She investigates, finds a door that shouldn't exist, opens it, sees a room, glass walls, 4 people at a table, 5 chairs, 1 empty. Her name already carved. She understands, steps through, joins them. The cycle continues. In 2089, Kate makes the phone call about the freezer, prevents the pandemic. No one notices. The timeline adjusts. Humanity continues. She returns to the room, reads the next newspaper, next disaster, next save. The work never ends, never ended, never began, always was. In 2151, she stands on Mars, invisible, adjusting the oxygen sensor. The colony survives. Humans spread further, to Jupiter's moons, to Alpha Centauri, to places she'll visit, has visited, is visiting now, preventing disasters across space and time. The job expanding with humanity's reach. In 2245, she meets another room, different galaxy, same concept, beings that aren't human, but guardians nonetheless. They compare notes, share techniques, unite their networks, the glass rooms of 1,000 species, all maintaining reality, all saving each other. The universe's safety net, invisible, essential, eternal. In 2500, Kate doesn't exist, never existed, is more real than anyone who does exist. She's myth, legend, ghost story, truth, the woman who stepped through glass, who saved billions, who no one remembers, who everyone owes everything to. The paradox of heroism, unknown and essential. In 3000, the room still drifts, through time, through space, through possibilities. Kate still sits at the table, still 34, still ancient, reading newspapers from tomorrow. The Hartley brothers beside her, Jessica across. The scientist from 2067 to her left, others joining, leaving, returning. The eternal watch, the guardians of causality. The coffee is still hot. The newspapers still come. The work continues. In 1981, 3 skiers fall from a broken lift, die on impact, are found immediately, buried properly, mourned, forgotten. The timeline where they didn't step outside, the solid one, the real one, the lie everyone believes, has to believe, because the truth that death is negotiable, that time is circular, that guardian ghosts walk between seconds, would break the world. So the room stays secret, the guardians stay invisible, the saves stay anonymous, and humanity continues, unaware it's being protected by 4 people at a table, in a room made of glass, that exists in the space between seconds, reading tomorrow's newspaper, preventing yesterday's disasters, forever, never, now,